Hey everyone, it's Karissa from Shining Light of Minnesota. I'm super excited. I'm at my alma mater, Winona State University. I have Brian Curtin here. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
Yes, so we have some exciting news. You're now the head football coach. How has that been for you so far? Kind of, sort of, since you've started out?
It's been good. Last year I was the head coach knowing I was going to have to go through the process, MINSCU procedure and things like that. So I feel like it feels a little more permanent now, and you can start looking a little more kind of long-term,
right?
Down the road a little bit more.
You've been, part of the football program. Obviously, you played here, and then you were student coaching since '96. It's been a long time, but you have some big shoes to fill. Tom Sawyer's a legend around here.
Yeah, I actually started as a student coach in '95 when I got done playing for Coach Hosier.
Yep.
And then when Tom got the job, I was able to stay on with him and kind of work my way up, through the ranks a little bit to getting a full-time job and being a coordinator and having a ton of different experience. I think that was one of the things that was great working with Tom is that, I kind of, it helped prepare me for this role because I was involved. Well, kind of knew a lot of the things that were going on. I was able to learn a lot about how to run a program and some of the behind the scenes things.
Yeah. The world's changed too. The students have changed, the parenting has changed, but the football program still stays the same. You guys have had a lot of titles. You've had some really great records. Tell our audience a little bit about your records and titles and how you guys have overcome.
I think through the years we were able to win a lot of conference championships. Mm-hmm. Especially under Coach Sawyer. Sadly, I don't remember exactly how many we won, things like that. But we had a really good run of football.
Yeah.
And the league has become tougher, right? When you added some of the teams that used to be in the North Central Conference come into our league.
Yep.
It's become an even better league, and we've been able to win, the South Division a couple times, which is by far one of the tougher divisions in the country, and one of the better leagues in the country.
Yep.
Arguably right towards the top, with the MIAA, the GLIAC, probably the league down in Texas and us. Those are some of the best. That's some of the best Division II football you're going to find.
For sure. The Northern Sun. It's changed a lot over the last few years too. Having all the players come in and want to play, and the whole football in general has changed. So yeah. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's a big league. It's a physical league.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good skill players in our league, and a lot of good coaches in the league, guys that have moved up through the ranks and done some things. And, just looking at, kind of Coach Sawyer's coaching tree, that I don't think a lot of people even realize how many guys that I've worked with that wanted to move around and do some things. Dave Braun, the head coach at Northwestern.
Yep.
Matt Entz is the head coach at Fresno State. Jason Ack, the head coach at New Mexico, Zach Barton at San Diego State, and Brett Holinka that I worked with. He was coaching the national championship game at Miami, and AJ Blazek's been at Wisconsin and Central Florida and places. So, and there's a lot of other coaches in our league that have moved up through the ranks to major college football.
Well, and a lot of the guys that have played football here at Winona State have gone on to do a lot of great things too. They're not just taking football and being done. They're doing a lot with football too, from what they've learned from Sawyer and Larry Holstad and all the other players, and from yourself too. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the things with football, right? Is there's so many advantages to when you're looking for jobs after football.
Yeah.
Being able to work as a team.
Yeah.
Being able to get along with a diverse group of people and being able to work for a common goal, I think are all things that translate to the workforce. And football's hard.
It is.
And I think our guys can do hard things, and that helps them so much in the future as they move forward.
Yep. I think, the way the world are going and the way everybody's getting healthier too has changed. From back when, this is going to age me, but when I was in college, when you were in college, to where people are now, and the way they're getting healthier, the way they're thinking about food, and the way they're thinking about working out and different things too, it's changed 100%. It's obviously everybody was healthy, or so they thought they were, but it's a different life.
I think it's become more difficult, or you have to be more conscious about those decisions.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount of one,
Internet.
lifestyles become a little bit more sedentary, and it's, there's so many more distractions where some young people, it's hard for them to get out of a chair because there's so many between a phone, video games, and all these other things. But you have to make better choices with food,
right?
With the preservatives and all the different things that they put in foods. It's amazing when you look back at old pictures compared to today and see what the public looks like as opposed to what it used to.
Right.
And we try to do the best we can to educate our players on those things. And it's crazy how many of those guys are so locked into what they put in their body.
Right, 100%. Well, and I mean, even the training sense of it too. I mean, from the physical therapy to the OT to the ice and the heat and the cold and everything that goes into it and the way they work out. I mean, everything is changing. It's a lot of fun to see, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future too with it.
Yeah, it's moved forward so much. My dad played college football. I'm talking to him what he did when he played, and I think he thinks sometimes they beat their body up more in the weight room than they did on the football field just because of
or
how
just
they
out
used
on
to
the
train.
streets.
So I think people have learned how to train. They've learned about recovery, all the different things that you can do to take care of your body, and our players really have invested in a lot of those things.
I mean, I know my dad was kind of the same way. I mean, you talk about all the concussion testing and all the brain injuries and everything like that, and what they didn't have before and what they have now. And asking people, hey, would you still play football knowing the injuries that you had back then? I mean, you look at like the Brett Favres of the world and all the other people, but they all still say absolutely I would. It's still a team sport. It's still it's a life lesson that you take on and you pass on to the next generation.
And I think when we look at some of that, when you see some of the long term, we're talking about guys that have played football late into their 30s, 40s, and things like that. But I still think when you look at it, the benefit you get from playing the game outweighs any of the negatives.
Well, no matter what you do, you can get an injury. I mean, you get injuries in golf, and golf's not a contact sport. I mean, you get the back injuries, you get the knee injuries, everything that you do. I mean, you could be walking down the street and get an injury. So no matter which way you look at it.
My dad used to always tell me when it comes to catastrophic injuries, the drive to the game is more dangerous than playing it.
Yeah, or the mental part of it, too. I mean, the drive home, the drive there, yes, absolutely.
It's just for that age group, there's more catastrophic injuries. In vehicles than there would be on a football field.
Well, and it's sad to think now, I mean, with all the cell phone usage, the texting, the getting on the phones, all the stuff that happens behind the screens, how do you monitor what happens with those players outside of all that? Probably can't.
Not really. You try to educate them.
Right. Be smart.
You try to explain to them that they've got more to lose than the average student or regular, the regular person going around. They're higher profile. People know who they are. People are going to see. You're going to come across more. I don't know the right word, but people's algorithms.
Yes.
You show up on more people's stuff because you're going to, that's going to be their interest.
Higher
and things
rated,
like that.
yeah.
So it's going to be harder for you to hide and put something out there stupid that. And at the same time, I think the bigger thing, I think our guys are pretty educated about what they're going to post and what they're going to put on social media.
Yep.
But you got to be aware other people might be filming you and doing those kind of things.
Yep. Well, and especially with the way technology goes, I mean, you have like the Meta glasses that people wear, or you have, I mean, even a perfect instance when you're looking for a job down the road, people still look back to what you've posted in the past to see, hey, will I hire this person? Will I not hire this person based on what they've posted? All your views, everything that you have on there is going to stick with you forever.
Sometimes I just hope that people in those positions of hiring and things like that can sometimes remember what it was like to be 18, 19
We didn't have phones,
right?
right?
I didn't have to worry
Thank
about
goodness,
that stuff.
right?
And sometimes I think it's a little bit unfair.
It is.
And it's like, people are going to make decisions. I'm like, okay, just think back.
Right.
What were you doing?
You didn't have a phone back then, so hey.
But
yeah. I mean, it's an interesting world. I mean, so let's go back a little bit. Tell everybody you are from Illinois and from the Chicago area. Tell everybody a little bit about your past.
Yep, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in a suburb just out of the city called Midlothian.
Yep.
Kind of had, there was 4 boys in the family and 1 girl. So at least when I look at it, it's a big family to me nowadays, for sure. My dad was a football coach, and so we kind of grew up around it our whole lives. And he was a high school teacher, school administrator. All my brothers are in education. But just, grew up there and kind of playing sports and those kind of things through high school. And then I went to a junior college first.
Yep.
Then was recruited to come here. And in this profession, it's a short story because I was able to stay in one spot.
Right. But you're very fortunate for that.
Time.
Yeah.
It's a choice that you make through things, and it's kind of what I want to do. I felt like that was what was best for my family.
Yep.
When you start to have kids and do those kind of things, and I liked it here. I thought we could
There's a lot to do in Winona, and it's a great town.
There's more than when I was in school, I think.
Yep.
Especially for adults, there's some more elevated dining and different things that are a little bit nicer that didn't exist when I first got here. But
it was Jefferson's. It was Brothers.
Now there's some really nice places in town. But it just being able to stay, working for Coach Sawyer, who a lot of his philosophy and a lot of his things that he did, and why he coached football fit with why I wanted to coach.
Yep.
Same with Larry Holstad. And I think when you have that kind of alignment, you feel like you can get things done. And at the time, for a large part of my early part of coaching, Darrell Krueger was our president, and he had a plan. He was extremely supportive and things like that. So a lot of things fit back then. And then you just fall in love with the place. Right.
Well, it's really easy too. I mean, I know when I walked on campus, when I played golf here under Coach Newberry with Larry Holstad and Krueger and all of the people, I mean, it's easy to just say, hey, this fits. Mm-hmm. This is a great fit. These are great people. The lines are already set for you. You fall into it. You have the lakes, you have the river, but you have the campus, and you know what they expect. You know how it's meant to be, and it's all just laid out perfectly for you.
I think the biggest thing for me is with Coach Sawyer, Larry Holstad, Darrell Krueger, like that kind of alignment. The biggest thing for me in all of that was that they treated people the right way and they did things for the right reason. Yep. I think that's something that coming from a family of educators and things like that, and when you're young and you see people want to come and talk to your dad that were students for him 5-6 years ago, and you see the impact that they've had, your hope is that you can do that, as you move forward and do those things. And I think the fact that those guys just kind of aligned with what I wanted to accomplish made it easy. Yep.
I mean, I know my dad played baseball, basketball, football. He had part of the football stadium named after him, the Midwest Wireless field. It was Cell 2000 field. He had a really good relationship with Sawyer and Holstad, and I know I've known them both for a really long time prior to even coming here too. And it's just one of those that whenever people came in the door, no matter whether they were a player, a student, a teacher, whoever they were, it was the warm welcome feeling. Like they always wanted to talk to them. Where a lot of coaches you go, even with Krueger, like you don't even know who those people are. You might see them and it's just like, hey, great coach, I'm going to come in here, do what I need to do and leave, and I'm out the door. But people are always in there wanting to talk to them and wanting to get their advice and just always there with them.
Yeah, it used to make it hard to get our work done sometimes.
I know, right? It won't work.
And and that kind of stuff. But, I think that's something that I don't want to say is unique to this place, but it's something that I value and try to continue.
Yeah. So you have some kids also that are out there. Yep. And they're growing up pretty fast.
Yeah.
What do you think's next for you have some recruits and you have some exciting things coming up for this year. Tell everybody about the team coming in.
Yeah, I think, we had a decent year last year. Right? We started to kind of turn some things around. Felt like we were turning a corner, and we were a young football team.
Yeah.
Our quarterback's got 2 years left. We have some good young ones behind him.
Yep.
Our leading receiver last year was a true freshman, which isn't ideal. But it's exciting.
He's got a lot of room to grow. Yep.
We got a lot of really good players on the defensive side of the ball. So, we just need to plug in a couple more pieces, so that we can continue to grow. But this recruiting class has been going really well. We got a couple guys in the transfer portal that are here already.
Right.
And we'll continue to work through this second semester. A little difficult because we started school really early. We start school, I think, before just about anybody else.
Right.
So that transition becomes a little bit more difficult for us. But we'll continue to look for some pieces, and we're excited about where we're going. The last two recruiting classes have been really good.
which is good. I mean, that's starting, I mean, having the younger quarterback, having the homecoming game a lot of times before people are even hardly even into school. I mean, it's exciting to see a younger team too, to just grow up through the ranks and see them get established and see what's expected and how they're going to grow with it too.
Yeah, I don't know how exciting it was for us last Saturday, the Saturdays last fall when,
right.
you had guys that were just playing high school football again, but, the year prior, but they jumped in, they did a nice job, you know. But we just tried to, really emphasize to those guys is they're not going to get better just because they're a year older. They got to work at it, and they're working hard right now.
Yep. Defensive line, how are they looking this year?
Good.
Yeah.
I think last year we had probably 3 of our top 4 pass rushers hurt.
Right.
Within the season. About midway, we had 27 guys out with injury. So getting those guys back, we're excited about that. But that should be a really good group. I still think our linebackers, just where they're at, are going to be the strength of that defense.
Right.
Right along with the defensive line. The culture in that defensive line room has been so good for years.
Right. It always has
really
been.
Push each other, hold each other accountable, and do some things. And now that linebacker group is kind of that way. And the more you can get that feed into your football team, the better you're going to be.
Yep. What do you think? I mean, from the last couple of years to this year, I mean, mental health has been a big thing too for a lot of the players and getting out there. And how do you bring that into the field? It's hard.
I think the biggest thing is trying to equip your players to be able to handle hard things.
Right. Life is hard.
Yes, but I think sometimes you just have to look at things and like what's really important.
Right.
And I think so much of stress and so much of mental health and all that kind of stuff is self-created by procrastination, putting things off, not taking care of things, not having a plan, not taking some time for yourself, not taking care of your body so you can be. I think when you
get run down, better, you get wore out,
It's funny. We used to have to teach, and it was an online fitness class. And one of the things that I had all my students do was they had to keep a diary every day.
Yep.
What did you eat? What was your activity level? How did you feel?
Right.
At the end of the semester, I'd give them stuff on how to, what to do, how to eat and all this kind of stuff. But like at the end of the semester, they had to write a paper.
Yeah.
About what they learned from their journal. And it's really weird that when they worked out and they ate well, they felt great.
Imagine that, right?
And I think some of that helps.
It does.
And I think getting ahead of things helps. Now, there's always things in life, right, that you can't control and do that kind of stuff. But if you can focus on the things you can control, understand.
Life happens, but you gotta.
I saw a former player's son online doing a devotion at a church or something, and he was talking about social media and mental health and all these kind of things. And he made a comment that just stuck with me. What people put on social media is their highlight film. And you think about as an athlete when you put your highlights out there.
Yep.
You don't put your drops.
No.
You don't put your mistakes out there.
Right.
You put all that. And I think some of these kids see other people highlight films and thinks that that's their life.
Life's perfect.
And compare themselves to that. And it's not.
Right.
And I think the more we can prepare our guys, have them do hard things, show them how to overcome hard things, the better off they're going to be.
Yep.
I just sometimes I get frustrated. We had a speaker come in and talk about how this is the most stressed generation and all these kind of things. And I'm like, I go back to my dad's generation that sat there and
look at the Depression
news.
era, or like my grandparents' era. Yeah.
Look at the news to see if your birthday's picked to be sent to Vietnam.
Right.
Or like you said, my grandpa lived through the Depression and fought in World War II.
Yep.
I think we're just
entitled
less
a little bit more
to handle hard things.
Yep.
And some of it is probably parenting. And some of it is, I think social media does play a part in that. Sometimes you see the stories of people that are bullied and things like that. That when they go home, it doesn't stop because of that. And so, there's some
everybody
real
has
things
a story
there,
to tell.
All of our coaches, we've gotten mental health certified.
Yeah.
And really, it's just how to identify things, right?
Absolutely.
Like I tell people all the time, I'm not equipped to fix your problems. I'm not a psychologist, but I can listen.
Yep.
I can listen. And if it's really bad, I can get you to someone that needs it, because it's a real thing, and it's happened with guys on our football team, and we've done it. And it's just, you got to be able to listen, And I think the biggest thing for a lot of these guys, and we talk about it with our coaches a lot, is they got to know you care. And if they know you care, that can help them in those tough situations. You can push them because they know you want what's best for them and all those things, but they first got to know you care.
Right. So, I mean, you look at the past generations, like we said, the Depression era, the Vietnam era. I mean, they didn't have phones. Yes, it might not have. They weren't able to talk about it, though. They kept it in. Like, talking to a lot of the veterans, talking to a lot of the people in the past, I mean, they still keep it into this day. Like, there's so many things that have been built up inside of them, or even when we grew up, we didn't talk about it. We just dealt with it and kept it in and handled it. And because they have phones now and things are out there a little bit more, it's on the forefront a little bit more. So yeah.
And I don't know that's always the healthiest way to deal with things, is to keep it in.
No,
I went through things when I was in college and my mom passed away, and I tell guys all the time when they come in dealing with things like that, here's how I dealt with it. I don't want you to deal with it that way.
Yeah.
And but I can listen. And I think those are all. How someone feels is real to them. You know what I mean? You got to figure it out and try to help people get through it.
Everybody handles things differently too, and and how you deal with it is how you're going to deal with it. Like, you can't tell somebody how to deal with it either, and that's the hard thing. Whether it's death or whatever it may be, it's.
And some of the guys that we've had that have struggled the most are those guys that you would, like, they're too proud. They're taught they shouldn't talk about like things. You hide your emotions, and they really struggle.
Right.
So I mean, finding the best way to get it out, I think it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. Whether it's hitting the gym or just doing, you have to have a release of some kind, whatever it may be. A healthy release is better than none. Yeah. What's your driving force? What's your why?
I want to develop guys, on the field, off the field, to prepare them to be successful after they get done playing here. I want them to be productive members of their society, to be able to give back. We do a lot of community service, that maybe we plant that seed so that when they go back to their community, they want to do those things. We try to help them where when things happen in life, that they can be the rock for their family and those kind of things. But first, you have to be able to take care of yourself. It's like one of those things that with our coaches, you try to get, I don't even know how to best say this, right? Because work-life balance as a coach isn't really an ideal thing.
No matter where you're at, it's
I want to make
hard.
it the best it can be for a college football coach, so that they can be a dad and they can do those things. Because if you can't be a great dad, how are you going to raise men to be great dads?
You want to say kids come first, but at the same time, that's a fine line. The balance work-life is...
And I would argue that I grew up the son of a coach, and besides looking up to my dad, all those guys that he coached when I was young were guys that I looked up to, and I looked up to those guys. I can't think of a better way of growing up than being around a bunch of people like that, and that have a work ethic and those kind of things. And when my kids were younger, my kids were always exposed to the people on our football team.
Yep, which is important. They need to have role models, just like everybody else. What do you think is important? I mean, obviously you have the kids that are looking up to them as well. Do you think that your kids will, or your son will get in the same role?
Well, he's playing for us now.
Yeah.
So he was a freshman last year.
Yep.
He's going into education.
Is he? Okay.
But I don't, who
knows what'll happen, right?
Being at a high school and being a high school coach or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. My daughter's a nurse, so she went a different path.
Yep. And nursing is tough. My daughter's going into nursing, has a nursing degree right now too. It's an interesting field world we live in right now, but yeah.
Yep. She enjoys it right now. So.
Yeah. Yep. So what do you think what kind of community service, and what do you think is exciting that you guys do out in the community so our viewers can see and know and help out?
We do it. Through the years, we've done a lot of things at the elementary schools. If it's, reading in the school, if it's back, supervising recess and things like that, where our guys are out there playing with the kids. Hopefully this semester we'll be able to get back in the schools a little bit more. Worked a wrestling tournament last weekend for a youth wrestling tournament at the high school. We've done the state championships in Rochester.
Yep.
We've worked those. We do takedown after Ashley for the Arts,
Yep.
kind of when we're in camp. But just a lot of different things. We've helped with spring cleanup in town. We do that every year. We kind of basically start at the lake and work through downtown and just clean up. In the spring when all the snow melts and there's just junk all over the place, and
Yep.
get it cleaned up. Trying to do those kind of things, but a lot of different things like that.
Right.
I get calls and ask questions. Ask if we can help all the time. We auctioned off 4 hours of work for Habitat. I think it was Habitat for Humanity or one of those organizations.
Yep.
Where this spring we'll have a group of 15 guys go clean up someone's yard that I think someone paid either $2,500 or $1,500 for. So really anything that we can do.
How difficult is it, or how fun is it, either way you can look at it, when you have friends or old teammates that have kids or young gentlemen that are on the team, and then you have to deal with them on the sidelines, or you get to deal with them on the sidelines? I mean, you grew up with them. Yeah. It's fun. I mean,
I think everybody knows,
it's a community.
Those guys I have a good relationship with those guys, and I think I try to coach them just like anybody else.
Yep.
Sometimes does it hit a little different?
Right.
When it's done, or when they do great things.
Yeah.
Probably
Right.
when you've known some of them since they were born. But
Yep.
it's been good.
Yeah. So you have a fun season coming up. You've had some seasons in the past. What do you think is your ultimate goal for next year?
Oh, it's going to sound like coach speak, right?
Obviously,
just want
right.
to continue to get better.
Right. Yeah.
And I think if we get better, we'll compete for championships and do those things. And I think we're on that track.
Yep.
We have a couple changes coming, and continue to add players and develop the ones we got and do those, all that stuff. But really just continue to get better. So we can compete for championships, because every game in our league seems like it's a play here or a play there. They're
Right.
all close, and that kind of stuff. So
one hit away or one pass away or just something.
yeah. So I think we're right there. We just need to continue to, to add some pieces and develop what we got and play clean football. And we'll be good.
What's your most famous motivational team huddle or quote that you've heard when you've been out there playing, or that you've given?
I don't even know.
No.
Just kind of.
Or has there been a moment out on the field that's really struck you that said, "Hey, this is going to be a moment that I've had that's going to stick with me for a long time"?
I was just talking about the other day, and it's one of those things, like when you talk about mental toughness, and all those things. And I used to show it all the time. And some of the transition between VHS to DVD to digital, I got to find a way to have it. But in 2003, I think it was, we were playing Duluth here.
Yep.
And had a chance, if we win, we go to the playoffs and win the conference. If they win, they're going to the playoffs and win the conference. And we're up late. And one of their guys runs a double move. And Nick Yeager kind of spins around or whatever. The guy catches it and goes, I think Nick tackles him on like the 6-yard line.
Yep.
Or 5, whatever. And they need a touchdown, but they're right there, 1st and goal, the clock's running down. In the very next play, instead of a guy that made a mistake or got beat on a play, with his tail between his legs, they run the quarterback. Nick comes out of it from the safety spot and just kills him. Ball comes out.
Yeah.
We recover it and game over. And it sticks with me, one, because it was a big time game.
Yeah.
Got us in the playoffs and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that you talk to your players and you're trying to get it all the time. We always say, Fido, forget it, drive on.
Absolutely.
Good or bad, you just got to move on.
Yep.
And those 2 plays in a high pressure situation were just amplified. It was just that
amplified,
in a moment that you can just see it. And it was something I think that always sticks with me.
Yeah.
Just because of the situation,
the mental toughness,
toughness
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff.
You got to kind of just forget about it and move on and make it work on the next play.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. How exciting is it having your son on the field and having him follow in your footsteps, and how have those roles been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was a little nervous about it because he was getting recruited. He'd been offered by the previous head coach and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I got the job, I think he was, because he's known some of these guys forever.
Right.
He was afraid that would change.
Yeah,
and
of
then
course.
he came on the recruiting trip and everything. All our players treated him the same.
You don't want to
way
get
and those
treated
kind of
different because your
things.
dad's the coach.
So then
yeah.
I think he felt really good about
That's
it.
good.
He's got a great group of friends. He came in with a really good class.
Good. And it looks like the school still stayed the same. I mean, for the most part, obviously, it does some growing and changing. Somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of upgrades. People come
Yeah.
back sometimes don't recognize the place.
Right.
You know, they're starting to dig a hole for new dorms right across by the tracks
Yep,
over
which
there.
you have to. I mean, it's a
So,
growing
I mean,
campus. Yeah.
But, you know, I think some of the changes that were made in the late 90s, early 2000s, closing the campus, getting rid of the streets, doing
Yep.
all those kind of things. And
Yep.
we've just been able to build from there, upgrade a lot of the existing buildings.
Yep.
Like past year, they kind of went floor by floor.
Yep.
You know, they've done some things to Sheehan. They've done some things to some of the buildings, and then along with some of the new that they've built. It's been great.
Which you have to. I mean, for the technology, for the size, for where it's at. I mean, Winona has 3 colleges here in town. You have to keep up with everything too. So
Yep.
yeah, Winona's a great town. What else do you guys do? What do you do outside of football and everything like that with family?
Play some golf.
Yep.
There's a lot of nice golf courses around here.
There are Cedar Valley. Yep.
Cedar Valley, Trempealeau Mountain,
Yep.
the bridges. You know, Westfield, the 9-hole course
Yep.
is
Could go
one of the
hop the bridge,
busier
go to
courses in
lacrosse, and
that.
play all those too. Yep.
Yep. The Jewel up in
Lake City.
is one of my favorites.
Yep.
I get up there once or twice a year to play.
You're gonna come up to the cities and play TPC. Bring some guys up there.
That'd
Yep.
be great. But the crazy thing, like, there's so much in this area, right? Not
There
just
is.
in Winona. That
Right.
for some stupid reason, when I was in college, maybe it wasn't there, but I didn't realize.
Right.
Like going to Lanesboro and,
Yeah.
and tubing down the river,
Yep.
you know, and a lot of just cool small towns with great restaurants.
Yeah.
Former player Matt Brown
Yep, I
has
know
a
Matt
place
really well.
in Harmony.
In Harmony,
which
yep.
is a great restaurant, a lot
Yeah.
of fun. You go out there Wednesday night in the summer,
Yep.
and they got open mic night. And
Yeah.
I do not sing, but I can sit and
Well,
listen. And some
you
people
had
get up
him
there
and you
do it.
had Joe and you had all those guys that
Yep.
are all singers now, and I'm like,
Yep.
where was this back in the day? I mean, we had the underground, and you guys weren't singing then.
Nope. I'm not singing.
Nope.
But there's a lot of guys doing some different stuff that way.
Yeah.
But in Winona, like I said, there's a lot of different places to
culture's
go eat
different,
and some of
yeah.
those things that have been great. That you kind of see pop up. You know, some of the new buildings downtown with apartments and
Mm-hmm.
things like that you can live in that are so much nicer than I remember having options.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the apartments across the street. I knew the campus. I knew some over at St. Mary's. And I mean, you just know the little things like the Brothers and
Yep.
the underground. And
I
yeah.
think there's lots of great things. And the crazy part was like when COVID hit that year and we didn't play.
Yeah,
I did things in town that I've never had time to do.
for sure.
You know,
yeah.
and when people out COVID was hard and all this, I'm
Yeah.
like, not for me.
I'll
I
go
had a great-
fish.
I
I'll
had a
go
great
get out
time
on
and
the water.
spent
Yeah.
more time I've been on the Mississippi a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but never where, you set up camp on an island for a day and
Yeah.
hang out and just things like that. Like my kids were like, we got to get a boat, Dad. And I'm like, guys, you realize this isn't what my life is usually like.
Right.
don't
I
time
have a
for
little
this.
bit more free time, maybe.
It really solidified, why you live here. I remember
Absolutely.
one of my good friends from college, we were sitting there like July 4th, sitting on some lawn chairs, sitting on an island, like, we live here.
Yeah.
and
This is not what I used to remember.
like the bluffs and the things like that are
Yeah.
beautiful, but
Yeah.
something about sitting on one of those islands down in the water, everything looked more grand, it looked
Mm-hmm.
bigger. It was pretty eye-opening to
Yeah.
me.
Yep. How was the season going through COVID, and how did all that make the next year?
It was tough in that I felt like in Minnesota, or in our state system, we didn't get back to
Right.
normal for a long time.
Right. It wasn't just the next year. I mean, it was a few years after that.
Where we couldn't get our guys in the weight. We just weren't around them.
Right.
And you wanted to make sure that they were doing all right and,
Checking on them.
where they were. And, but when we were able to start to practice and start to do some things. I felt like it added a sense of normal,
Yeah.
minus the masks that you're constantly saying, pull the
Yeah.
thing up and, whatever. But the biggest impact it had on all of it, as far as football goes, is we have guys that just finished that were in that class at 2000
Right.
or 2020, I guess.
2020. Yep.
Not 2000,
Right.
maybe really old,
Yeah.
but
Well, then we're
2020.
really old. No.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
to be a college, playing
Right.
college football.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking guys walking out here with master's degrees and
I
different
know.
things. And it shows, one, their love of the place, their love of the game, and all those kind of things to kind of put life off, which you got your whole life to be an adult, I guess, but going into a seventh year
Yeah.
of football and things
You
like
don't
that.
want to miss your senior year of football when you're supposed to be getting all your, moving on and
Yep.
playing your
So
senior
things
year.
are going to start to get back to normal, but it was, as far as guys being here for 4 or 5 years, but we had grown men playing.
Right? Yeah. You're going to come back and you're going to have a full beard and you're going to be old just like me and let's go.
I'm
Yeah.
losing the hair.
Yep. Well, and it's funny when you look back and you're like, okay, what was I like back then and how was I? And it's a different world.
It definitely is.
Yeah. But you still keep in contact with a lot of the people that still, Susie and Erica and all the guys. And yeah, it's interesting. All the Welches and all the Sikhs and
Yep.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the coaches convention. I got in late, so I was at the hotel and I couldn't get Amazon Prime in my room, so I couldn't watch the Bears Packer playoff games.
Yep.
And there was a big text. There's probably about 20 of us from that age. And that was it's the only way I knew what was going on in the game.
Yeah.
Half the Packer fans, you got the Bear
Yep.
fans. And then when it started to get a little weird, Travis Walsh and some of the Vikings fans were just dropping football stuff in there.
Of course.
It wasn't trash talk anymore.
No.
It was some this and
Just
then,
football.
And then it started going.
Yep.
But yeah, you still keep in touch with a lot of them.
Yeah, well, a lot of them, it seemed like for a while it was all like the Plainview, Elgin, Millville team. There was a lot of them from that era, which was fun.
We had a run of a lot of brothers.
Yeah, yep, you did. Yep. The Welshes and the Jepsons. Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Yep.
The Samps, yeah. It was a lot of fun. Those days seems like yesterday, but yeah, it was. Well, we appreciate having you on. If you could leave anything with our viewers, with the players, what do you think that would be?
I just think the biggest thing is just to know that they're going to be, as they work through this, they're going to be prepared for life, right? Like, you can do hard things.
Yeah.
You can overcome tough times. And I really think this game prepares you to do that.
Yeah, and once you're a warrior, you're always a warrior. It stays in you.
Yep.
Yep, you're always a team. Well, thank you for being on today, Brian. I appreciate you having us out, and it's fun seeing some of the graphics and things that we've done here too, and I'm definitely going to take a walk around and take a look at the campus, and yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, keep shining light.